and welcome to the Saturday review of the 2025 CKNA Grand Nationals 9. We're here on grid for the PM classes warm-up. This is the medium class. We're going out in the rear with Nick Sobiak and Ashton Wheeler. And, of course, I went out in the rear. You guys seen in the first part of this three-part series what happened if you went out in the midfield. Carts pretty much parked everywhere. And, yeah, we're not interested in doing that. So, yeah, let's see where the best lap put us. Now the lap was a 1:13.2, which honestly wasn't the greatest, but considering we were still P18 out of the 102 go-karts entered in senior medium, and with the fact that I had pulled away from Nick and Ashton quite a bit, that definitely added to the confidence levels going into the heat races number 2 and number 3 on the weekend. But yeah, honestly, the lap wasn't great, but I ended up pushing my tires to the point where I definitely cooked the fronts a little bit, just trying to be able to do that lap time by myself without the pushing help. So I remember backing off near the end of the session to try to get back with Nick and Ashton, but I mean at that point we weren't going to go any quicker. So I do think we had a really good kart going into the heat races, and yeah, we were able to show it.
Now we're going to jump right into heat number 2 for senior heavy, where we are starting on the outside of row number 4, P8 position. And we're able to make it through the first corner really clean, second corner clean, same with the third and the fourth. Kind of got stuck out a little bit in the fourth corner there. And not great positioning going into 5, 6, and 7 with the double rights. Got stuck out again in cell tower, and eventually we got going in our group. We were able to settle in around the P12 position, and we were able to pick off Ryan Miller and Tyler Dolak once we got going after pushing Christian Savalio for a little bit. And now we're 2 laps to go, end of the second group, and eventually we had caught that lead group with all the fighting there as I was able to poke out and make a move on AJ Roderick there. And end of that same lap, it kind of got checked up a little bit, so I just pointed AJ back through because I didn't want to lose too much time to the lead group right in front of us because we had worked so hard to get there. And yeah, we were able to move into, I believe, the P9 position. And then right here on the last lap, Henry Wheeler defending middle of the track. And right here, I'm going to cut it. And you can kind of see the driver on the inside. Wakefield is up on the curb. And yeah, just typical green corner things. You get stuck out there. Bit of contact, and it was enough to slow Henry down enough for the entire group behind to go around. Obviously, slowing it down, it doesn't look so egregious, but yeah, not the cleanest of moves there. But hey, we benefited from it, so we were able to pick off one more there. And yeah, didn't have the greatest starts in that one, but we were able to recover to a P8 finish in the second heat. And then we rolled off for heat number 3 in the final AM groups for senior heavy. And we started P8 in this one, and I'd already started on the outside twice, so I had known what to expect. And unfortunately, I don't think anyone could expect what was to come next here, because right after about the P15, P20 mark, there's a bunch of carts stopped in between 2 and 3, and nowhere to go. The entire track was blocked. Nowhere to go for everyone from about 25th on back. And unfortunately, I'd seen Mark Steele had gotten the worst of it, and coming around green corner that same lap, even though I was in front of it, It was a scary sight, man. If you were on the fence line, you were at the event, or you were on track and you came around green corner and seen all those carts stopped, it was scary. And on board with Beyond the Carts and Mark Steele here, there's nowhere Mark could have went. You really can't anticipate it, right? Starting so far back, you can't look really up the field that far to really anticipate where to go there. And super, super, super scary stack up, pile up. And I was really grateful Mark was able to get up from that. And here was Mark's onboard from the rear-facing camera, where Mark here comes through turn 2, and you see he tries to go right, tries to go left, gets hit from behind, and there's really nothing he could have done. It's just so last second, and so many carts there, you're just trying to keep it out of the guy on your outside, right? And Adam Maxwell there, you see his rear bumper's up probably 4 or 5 inches, maybe even more. And a lot of carnage there, and thankful everyone was okay, and we had also stayed in front of it, and we had a decent restart. Seemed to be my kryptonite in heavy, right? Just starting on the outside and just couldn't get off of that outside line, right? And right here, we had to do a bit of defending from Logan Stevens and everyone on back, and this move here from Owen Lloyd on, I believe that's Bryce Frank, and Eli Fox following him through. I'd pushed them through the corner before green corner, and unfortunately got stuck on the outside, which meant we were also on the outside for scoreboard and lost a couple more positions. And it was really tough to just manage the starts, really, and try to have a good start, to just go for it immediately. It's hard to bring that level of aggression without turning it into over aggression, right? And we were the first cart really chasing this lead group here, Overbeck with a move on Eli Fox, and all the racing in the top 6-7 was able to bring us closer, and a bit of a stack up there in the final corner definitely helped here. Eli Fox, Potter, Wyatt Leslie. Bit of a stack up. I decided I would try to go for the move here heading to the white flag. You see Wyatt there point me through, and take a look over the shoulder to see he has a gap. Right here, Lloyd defending for the P3 position. Overbeck with the crossover. Stevens decides to go with Lloyd and then changes his mind. Lloyd stays on the inside for green corner, and Overbeck ends up off the track. But with this point of view here, you can see at this point there's been no contact going into green corner, and Overbeck's inside rear is hiked probably 3-4 inches maybe. And it could have been two things, right? Maybe it's also James turning out of the corner to leave the space, or maybe just at the point where the cart was loaded too much and unfortunately just pushed off the track. I don't know, but definitely there wasn't any contact, and we were able to pick off James through there. And yeah, this event, there's so much attrition that's going to go on. You really have to know how to anticipate where to position yourself, and that'll really help you in the long run, really, at this event here. And yeah, with 60 carts on track position was super essential, and we had that going into the main, P6.
Now, after knowing that I was going to start the heavy main in P6, that gave me a lot more confidence to try to raise the aggression a little bit here in the medium heat races here on Saturday. And I definitely knew I had a bit of work to do, as P8 isn't really going to cut it, in this senior medium class, as, you're putting two groups together, right? So P8 is really P16, right? Compared to where in heavy, P8 is P8. So I was definitely looking to raise the aggression level a little bit and try to get some solid results going into the main events for Sunday. Now still, the goal here was the same. The goal was to make sure we made it through the start clean. After what went on Friday, and I had reflected a little bit on the heavy heats earlier in the day Saturday as well, I didn't really want to go backwards on the starts anymore. I was kind of over fighting my way back up to where I started, right? It gets tiring quick. Kind of just managing the tires here on the start. Accidentally bumped the camera a little bit trying to clean off my tires, so didn't exactly go off to the greatest start, but it's alright though. It's alright. Maybe some of y'all like this camera view better. Who knows? But rolling here into the tram lines, coming down to a really slow halt. I'm just dragging the brake in, also slowly easing into the gas and just making sure that I'm getting on the power at the same time that the front row is. And we're going to get through the first 2 corners clean, get put up onto the curb a little bit there, and make sure we leave space coming through 3 and 4. Overbeck going to get ran out a little bit there, and we're going to push him through this corner here in turn 4. And everyone in front of me was single file, so I was like, you know what? I might as well just get in line and see what we can make happen here. And everyone's still single file coming into cell tower, and someone up front, I believe it's Kale, is going to poke out and make a move there up into P2, and Eli Fox trying to follow him through, and he's going to get that move done. Yeah, everyone trying to swallow up that one driver there on the Burrell. I think that might be Mitchell Morrow, but yeah, everyone trying to continue to pick up some positions, and here I'm going to go defensive as there was a bit of checking up into the corner, and I didn't want anyone at my inside, and Jackson Young going to be able to get through on Adam Brickley, and we're going to try to do the same. And yeah, just had to make sure I leave the space there because I didn't want to go off the track on the exit, and we're going to have to give up another one to Will Lawler. But I knew throughout practice that Will was extremely fast. He was last year as well, but last year he just couldn't seem to get out of his own way. So I knew that as long as we can get in the line and push, I knew that me and Will would be able to go to the front. And yeah, that was essentially the goal here, was to just push Will as far forward as I could. Now on exit a green corner there, someone had a bit of contact with Mitchell Morrow. We were able to pick up a spot there, and Will Lawler was also able to get a spot. And I knew that if I waited too long to go around Adam, Will was just going to walk his way off into the distance, and my chances of getting a top 5 in this heat weren't going to be great, as right there we ran over someone's chain guard into the first corner. Yeah, we were able to get the move done there, and Adam just popped down the inside. And I'm not sure if I had mentioned it before, but I made sure that we were on a super low gear so that I would be able to pass in not only the infield, but going into turn 1 as well. Yeah, able to put us up another spot, and now back onto the back of Will's bumper as he's going to go for a move here on Young. After seeing Young's first heat race as well, he didn't fire off the best. So I kind of noted that going into this one, that he might have gone on a higher tire pressure. I just kept that in the back of my head, but yeah. Now with this formation with Lawler leading us, Jackson Young in the middle, and me at the back of the caboose, we were going to try to push up to the lead group. Now at this point in the race, I'd felt like Lawler was starting to come on really nice, and Jackson wasn't really able to sit on his bumper the entire lap. And I thought that I was going to have enough pace to be able to do exactly that. So again, we're going to poke out at the end of the straightaway and use that really low gear to our advantage and put us up into what I think is the sixth position now, as Lawler's into that fifth position. And Lawler was super good on his own, as was I, but once the lead four are, sitting bumper to bumper, it feels like it's impossible to get there, but we were going to try to show what type of pace we had. Now with 2 laps to go, Will Lawler and I are finally going to arrive at the scene of the leaders, and I wasn't close enough to just get in the draft yet, but Lawler's going to go for a move on Reagan Seville here. I did not have enough time to check up there, as you've seen. Will just blew Reagan off the track, and he did receive a penalty for it from Cup Karts, and as you see me point at Will, like, dude, I pushed you the entire race for you to blow Reagan off the track. Like, come on. And now we have a gap to the leaders again. Not really much else we can do here, but hope we have a chance to fight for the lead again, right? As Will's now asking me to push him again, and if I was a bit younger, I probably would have went for a move on him here, and we probably would have wrecked. But having some experience now, I know that if I go for a move, I'm going to end up like Reagan. So I'm just going to sit behind Will and see what we can do here on the last lap. Kale gonna poke out, try to go for a move here on Eli, as Eli's gonna open up for the corner, and yeah, Eli's gonna fall back into the 4th position for a moment. We're gonna push him back into 3rd, and then we're gonna lose the benefit of the draft, so I'm just gonna let Will go. Yeah, we're just gonna sit here behind Will and see if we can do anything at all. Now, we weren't able to pick up another position on track, but with Will receiving a penalty for avoidable contact with Reagan, we're going to pick up the P4 position here in heat number 2, and we were tracking really well at this point to have a great starting spot for the main event. Just to top it off, we ended up going purple in this heat too, so it's now 3 years in a row we've gone purple in the medium class at the Grands, either the heat races or the main event, so definitely something I'm proud of for sure. We knew at this point we definitely had a piece. I had the racecraft to keep it there, right? So very optimistic going into the third heat to see what we could do.
As here we rolled in for the final heat in medium, and we're going into the first corner here as I cut to where I get put onto the curb here. And yeah, right behind me, Chase had also gotten put onto the curb, and I had talked to him after this had happened, and he was like, yeah, we both got squeezed, and we both had to check up, and the inside row didn't see it coming, and everyone from behind Heber onwards here just kind of piled in as they end up going left, and the outside goes right. But yeah, I felt like I got squeezed there. Cup carts originally felt the same. We hadn't gotten squeezed. I think we all make that first corner, at least the first 5-10 rows. What went on behind, I'm not sure, because you can see there's a bit of a gap from maybe 40th on back, and something completely separate happened, but there had been adamant room to go through the corner not on the curb, we would have been fine. I disagree with incident responsibility. I would be much rather okay with failure to leave racing room, the penalty above. Yeah, somehow all 4 of these penalties were overturned. I'm not sure how the corner workers can call in 4 penalties and they're all wrong, but hey, I guess that is possible at this event. At the same time, they've also proven they can be wrong, and they'll admit to it. Yeah, I want to clarify too. Kelvin is one of the cleanest drivers on the grid, hands down, right? I absolutely do not believe that he squeezed me on purpose. It just happened, right? And it's worth mentioning, too, that was the fastest start I had done all weekend. I don't know if starts were that quick all weekend for other classes, but in heavy, extremely slow. You guys seen in the first, in the Thursday-Friday video I'd putting up, the starts were also extremely slow. And to show the clip at full speed.
Deep, but that's enough to have a good race. And we've got him right. Oh no! Big contact for the front of the...
And right here I want to show as well with the tram lines on the left here. They don't end until you're, I don't know, about 20, 30 feet before the corner. Maybe it's a bit more, don't quote me on that, but... yeah, with the fact that you cannot leave the tram lines on that inside line until you're pretty much into the corner, mixed with the fact that we were going into the first corner at a much higher rate of speed than we had been, yeah, it definitely catered for a mess to happen, and it did. And unfortunately, we were only able to claw our way back to about 37th in that one, which put us at about 72nd overall. So, yeah, we had a horrible result in that one. However, we still went third quickest by ourselves driving back through the field with a bent steering shaft. Nevertheless, though, we still had a very solid Saturday on our TV kart. A lot of consistency in heavy, and just being able to make the right moves in medium throughout the second heat really had us excited going into Sunday. I felt like we had more pace in our medium kart than we did our heavy kart. So I want to say we split the gear ratio overnight in our heavy kart to go about half a tooth lower. And I don't think we did anything to our medium kart. We were pretty happy with our long run pace. I had maybe a couple ideas on gearing, but I mean, we were purple in the second heat, and we were still super good in the third heat, even with the bent steering shaft. So I felt like we had a very good chance at both, especially starting on the third row for the heavy class. And P20 in medium, you can win from there. I mean, we've seen crazier things happen. We've seen people win from 34th, people win from 19th, right? It's definitely possible. So I wasn't counting myself out in medium yet, but that third heat really hurt us for sure. And yeah, the pace was there though. So I was able to get a lot of good rest Saturday night, and we were really excited going into Sunday. So
Thank you guys for watching the Saturday edition of my Cup Karts GN9, and hopefully y'all can tune in for the Sunday edition. Peace.